Okay, welcome to Prevention is Cure podcast. You're with me, Prof. Grant Schofield, and with Reid George, who's our lead health coach at Precure for the mental health program and one of our lead coaches in general. Good to see you, Reid. How's it going?
Really good, thank you, Grant. Nice to be here.
Thanks. I'm excited about today. I really want to talk about health coaching, bring that alive to people because, I mean, you're a real master in this area, but especially in the mental health area, why and how you're into that, how that's evolved, but also where you've come from as a physiotherapist. So let's start with the physio journey. When did that start?
Oh, a long time ago now, Grant. Just about to have our 30-year anniversary for Otago, but I started in 1995.
Yeah.
Down at Otago, went down and did health sciences and applied for medicine. Thought I wanted to be a doctor. Got into physiotherapy and have never looked back.
Yeah, it's interesting why you say that. Yeah, because it's sort of, I didn't get into medicine, but I didn't get into physiotherapy.
And look where we both are these days.
So you're ahead of me on the brightness scale.
Oh, it was a great place to start.
Yeah,
awesome
exactly.
Career.
And so they ended up as a hospital, as people go to hospital physiotherapy to start with, right? That's the first destination for a young grad.
Yep. Started at North Shore Hospital.
Yep.
Didn't last there very long at all.
Yeah.
It was like a Titanic.
Yeah.
So working within the hospital system it's a beast, but a great place to start.
Yeah. I mean, in the whole functioning of the health system, I know we've talked about this heaps of times.
Yeah.
Sits with you that the prevention is cure mantra is not really a thing. The ambulance at the bottom of the cliff is what you're saying. And I don't know, have you walked around North Shore Hospital recently?
Not lately, no.
I mean, I was there a couple of years ago and Dad was in there.
Yeah.
And I know Sonia English, our other foundational league coaches, talking about this all the time because she is still doing shifts in there.
Yeah.
But it's the walking face of chronic disease. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the meal cart come round and you're like, oh my Lord.
And to affect change there, I always felt like, that's why I call it the Titanic, it was just so massive to try and affect change.
Oh, you're talking about not the fact that it's sinking, but it's the moving, the deck chairs part.
Yes, yeah. So, pretty quickly I realised in my first year as a local float physio at North Shore Hospital that if I wanted to change things, it was going to be very difficult to change it. Incremental changes over a period of time.
Yeah.
And so it didn't take me very long. I went to a sports expo actually, and I saw some girls doing Pilates on reformers.
Yeah.
Sometime in 2000, and I had no idea what that was because back in 2000 there was only about 5 studios here in Auckland. But,
so when you walk for a reform Pilates studio, there's those sort of square-shaped machines that still exist there.
Yep.
Those were them.
That was them, the moving platform that's got the springs attached to it.
Yeah, cool.
And I was fascinated by this form of fitness that I'd never seen before. And there was a studio just down the road from North Shore Hospital, so I started doing Pilates there for fun.
Yeah.
And then within a few months, I'd left North Shore Hospital and set up a little physio practice within the Pilates studio. That's how much I loved it.
Oh, that's cool. You're an early adopter, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how long did you stick with Pilates? Do you still do any Pilates?
I do still do Pilates, yes.
But you do it yourself?
I do it myself.
You don't take any?
No, I had my last private client up till the end of last year. So I taught from 2000 till 2024.
Oh, it's pretty long.
Yeah, in lots of different ways, lots of different forms. Physio Pilates studios around the world, here in New Zealand, Australia.
Are you still doing any physiotherapy?
No.
Yeah. Oh, except for what I just got you to do on me.
Just a little bit on your shoulder before we did the podcast. And your knee, yes. I do still get asked about physio things a lot. We've just been at water polo for my kids today, and there was someone that needed, a chat poolside about that. So yeah, physio is a great place to start. And I think within the world of, in the world of health coaching, being a physiotherapist really does give you that grounding to go where I've gone. So a combination of both.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, it's the actual course of training to be a physio is actually hard.
Yeah.
And the anatomy, the biology, all of that stuff is at a really high level. So it's pretty demanding about understanding how humans work and function.
Yeah, and I used to love it.
Yeah.
Really loved it.
I don't know how much I do on the behavioural aspects.
Well, none.
Okay.
And that's why in 2019 I had done a lot of, say, physiotherapy and Pilates for the body.
Yeah.
But you find in a Pilates session, a lot of people just want to talk.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I had the skills to help people in that talking space.
Right. But isn't that the case in a physiotherapy session as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, people want to chat.
Yeah.
And I started getting fascinated with the idea of the mind as well as the body. And so I looked into things like psychology or counselling or therapy, thinking that maybe I'd retrain and study in that area as well. But none of them really interested me. And I know they're really important out there, but it wasn't something that spoke to me to do. And then I discovered health coaching, which I didn't even know existed back in 2019.
Well, I mean, it barely did, right? It was still probably in the same stage as Pilates was in 2001 or 3, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Preeti only been going for a year then. We barely knew what a health coach was ourselves. There was no governing bodies. There was no real trainers in Australia and New Zealand. But actually you had another family event happen at the same time, which probably also pushed you into that.
Yes. So we have, my older brother took his own life in 2008.
Yeah.
So before that, things were quite challenging, and mental health has always been something that's really important to me. And so I wanted to move into something that was going to help in that space. But again, I just didn't know what that was going to look like.
But was part of that because he had mental health things that he couldn't get on top of for a relatively long time?
Yeah, it had been a long time. It was more than 10 years where things had started to unravel. And as a sister and as a family member, you can watch from afar, and there's only so much you can do or not do.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking for lots of people watching how it all panned out. And so part of me knew that I really wanted to help in that space, which is probably why I started looking at psychology or counselling.
Yeah.
But also, it wasn't quite the approach I wanted, which was that where are people at now and where do they want to be and how can we help them get where they want to go?
Yeah, no, I really like that. I mean, I think that is the beauty of coaching, is it's really forward-looking.
Yeah. The other part of it is that scope. So it took my brother, his name was Philip, a long time to get to where he got.
Yeah.
But if we are able to help at the top of the cliff, the whole ambulance at the bottom of the cliff idea, if we could help further upstream at the top of the cliff when things are mild to moderate, when things are beginning to get challenging or, much, much earlier, then I saw a way of helping not so much prevent, but proactively help and hopefully prevent outcomes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for, something that could help in that space. And that's where I feel mental health coaching sits.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we've talked about this a bit sometimes, that in psychology there's quite a few different schools of thought, and the sort of psychoanalyst stuff that came out of Freud and then turned into what is probably modern day psychotherapy is looking for change, but it looks for that change in the past to resolve those issues. And I'm not saying those don't exist, and those are important for some people, but what your behaviour matters as well, and what you do moving forward matters.
And Martin Seligman's positive psychology for me really speaks to me. The idea of his books, Authentic Happiness and Flourish, is that approach of taking the psychology but looking forward and looking at how can we help people thrive and flourish more so than what's happened to you or what's wrong with you. It's actually using some of those tools.
Oh yeah, I sort of have the exact opposite journey to you in many ways. That I did psychology, was a registered psychologist, and got completely disenfranchised with it because of the lack of positive psychology.
Yeah, that's right.
So I read Seligman's book with the PERMA framework in it. Whenever that came out, I assume it must have been 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been around for a while.
And that really drew me back into psychology and behaviour change and seeing a more active part. I sort of felt that it's a good model, but he still missed some of the eat, sleep, move stuff. He did eventually come up with a PERMA V model that had V for vitality, that included some of those aspects. And
well, that's the other part with lifestyle medicine that I love about health coaching, is so much of it is not rocket science.
Yeah.
And it's fundamental and foundational for health and well-being.
Yeah.
And there's no point taking medication for things if we're not doing the fundamentals with sleep and movement and nutrition and connection and breathing and all those really important things first.
Yeah, I mean, I find it diabolical that you would go to a medicine first, especially for a psychiatric issue, without first exhausting sleep, diet, and exercise, and connection probably.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And all four of those are interconnected as well. Yeah, I mean, I imagine in the future, some future version of medicine that doesn't exist yet, but our prevention is cure one, where that's a big part of it, that it would basically be malpractice to start with those prescriptions immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably where most of my clients come from in private practices. Maybe they've exhausted all other options.
Yeah.
Or they have been within the medical model for a while. Yeah. And they'd like to try something slightly different when it comes to their lifestyle. And they're ready for that change.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go through the your journey from you trained with Precure.
That was 2000. That was the COVID year. Yeah, no
I
idea
actually
what was
did that
going
all
to happen.
online, never actually
all
physically
online.
met us.
Yeah, I don't think I ever met anyone until halfway through 2021.
Oh, that's classic.
Everything was online. That saved my sanity that year, actually.
Yeah.
The labs, the seeing everyone.
Yeah.
That continuity of having the group and the cohort that we could check in with each other, see how everyone was going. That was...
Yeah, it was an interesting transition as well, because online learning... It's live and real, but it's online. That was only just coming out as a thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were all learning as we went that year, that's for sure.
Okay, so you did that.
And then I did the Mental Health Coaching 2022. So I was in the first cohort of the mental health coaching pathway.
Yeah.
And then I became a mental health coach. So my niche ended up being quite early on mental fitness and addictions.
Yeah.
That was where I...
And why did you choose addictions? Was that partially because you teamed up with Lisa Birch as well?
Yeah.
Who was...
The alcohol experiment. She was our resident addictive specialist, wasn't she? Expert here.
Yeah, well, she's got... I don't think you've got that much lived experience with addictions, have you?
I have an eating disorder from a long time ago, so not alcohol per se, whereas Lisa's, it's a bit together. We worked really well together in that space. We did a few alcohol experiments with clients for a couple of years. But Lisa was a real shining light for me about working in the addiction space and not looking at what's wrong with someone, but what's happened to them to lead them to the point where they choose leaning on an addiction as a way of coping with life. And I wanted to help people who choose that way, learn some new strategies and skills to cope with life.
Yeah, I think it's in our PK 30 something coursework 304, which is addictions. But one thing that just absolutely shines on my mind from Lisa taking some of those, producing some of those videos and coursework is her journey with alcohol, because of course they owned a pub.
Yes.
Which is not helpful.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness.
But she would say every day, like, that's it, I'm not drinking it again.
Yeah.
And then, by midway through, and of course she would.
Yeah.
But then she realised that she'd screwed up, so she had this running thing as well. So she'd get up at 6, still, not sober.
Yeah.
And go for like a 2-hour run. And sort of come right, and go, right, that's it, never again.
Yeah.
And do the same thing.
Absolutely. And that's what, we see in so many of our clients is that cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Is that really wanting to change? But we know it's a gap between the knowing and the doing, isn't it? They may know X, Y, Z, but they, we're all human. So we bridge that gap. We help them when they're like, I really want to do this thing, but I don't know how to start.
Yeah, and I think coaching is a really good model for that, because it's not like you front up a police and go, hey, what you're doing is bad for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hadn't thought of that. Thanks for telling
me.
Now that I know that, I should be away.
Well, the irony is in 2020, at the beginning of 2020, I set myself a challenge to have an alcohol-free year.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what it was like to do something in the health-related behaviour change field as I was studying health coaching. And I had 3 relatively young kids. I just closed down my Pilates studio I used to run at home. Yeah. And I was probably drinking more than I wanted to as a stay-at-home mum and all the things. So I was like, right, I just won't drink for the year.
Yeah.
I'm going to set this goal. And we had no idea what 2020 was going to bring with it, with COVID.
Yeah.
My father got very sick very fast and passed away during 2020. But the whole way through, my cohort, my health coaching cohort, and the continuity of the labs helped support me with my behaviour change. And I successfully did a 1.5 years in the end of not drinking. But it was the support and accountability and the progress with my cohort that helped me through some really tough times.
Yeah, I haven't drunk this year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Well, I'm not sure it's congratulations. It's a weird thing though. I don't have an alcohol problem per se. Well, anyone who did probably doesn't think that initially anyway. Yeah. So that's no defence. But it just creeps into your life as a coping mechanism, and I think that's not helpful. And it affects your sleep so much. Yeah. Which I think's probably even less helpful. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting when I stopped, because I thought I'll just stop and there'll be no issues. Yeah. But I just realised how many opportunities there were every week for where alcohol was a thing that I would do.
Yep.
So for the first couple of months, I was like, oh, that's weird. But I had this, I was quite steadfast on going, no, I'm not, I've decided I'm not drinking this year. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's cool, no problem. But it took a couple of months for the pairing, I suppose, of the alcohol and
the social things.
And the social things to unpair.
Yeah.
They don't even exist at all now. It's not even a thing.
Which is why when it comes to behaviour change, if we can make that leap, that jump, it's often so much easier than that grey area. Am I going to drink or not drink? Am I going to do the thing or not do the thing?
Yeah.
It's actually much easier to say, I'm going to do the thing, but in order to do the thing, I need the support.
Yeah.
Or the progress partners or the accountability buddies.
Yeah, you have to actively tell people that's what you're doing. You're not just randomly deciding.
Otherwise, it's just willpower. And that's probably in my niche of mental fitness and addictions or connections, is helping people learn all these beautiful strategies that we have as health coaches and mental health coaches that they can use instead of the thing, because it will get hard.
Yeah.
And they will get those cravings, and they have to learn to surf the edges.
Yeah.
So that
willpower's as the only strategy is a bit overrated, really. Isn't it?
Because we run out of willpower, and if we're not sleeping well or not eating well, and then we're trying to white knuckle it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. And we're all about sustainable health-related behaviour change.
Yeah.
That changing your lifestyle, not just a quick fix.
Okay, let's get back on the track of re.
Yep.
So I think you sort of probably do 3 different jobs at the moment, which has its pluses and minuses. So let's talk about each one. So first is your work for Precure.
Yes. So I teach, I'm in an amazing team on the faculty, and we teach the live labs.
Yeah.
So I am currently teaching on the advanced coaching pathway labs and the mental health coaching pathway. So
yeah, I like that stuff. And
we have a lot of fun, don't we?
Yeah, and we've just written a new book for that, advanced behaviour change, advanced coaching, and there's a matching chapter for each of the 15 practice labs, and with a big idea, how it works and how to do it, and there's some case studies. And what's astonishing to me, I don't think it was as astonishing to you, but it's like, after 30 years in tertiary education, there's not a single university class where even a small percentage of the class would have done the readings, especially younger students. And the older ones who often did was sort of partially ridiculed by the youngies. And the Precure classes, everyone's not only read it, they're engaged in it. It's an astonishing thing. It's cool.
And I love hearing you say that because, like you say, I haven't worked in tertiary education per se. So for me, it didn't come as a surprise because I know our students are so engaged and they're choosing to be here, and often they've got a life experience or a career beforehand.
Yeah, they've come from health, they've come from their own health journey, or both, or they really want to make a difference. So everyone's motivated. Yeah,
and plus we say it's such a personal journey as you go through the health coaching, as well as a professional one. And so personally, they're taking ownership of their journey. If you don't do the readings, you won't be able to interact as well in the labs. So therefore, it's that whole autonomy and empowerment, which we talk about with our clients, that we see in the students.
The other thing I like about those labs, besides the actual breakout rooms and the one-on-one practice with each other and all that sparring and practice, which is necessary in throwing things around, is when we go around the group and see what they make of something or what they've got to offer, what the experience is, and I'm mostly humbled by the fact that there's always someone there on whatever topic it is who knows more than we do, has more life experience in that than we do, and really brings the whole group alive. That's sort of cool.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And when you talk about it like that, I think group coaching, which is essentially what it is. We could do a whole other podcast on group coaching. But we enter the labs as faculty members, but we're not necessarily experts any more so than some of the students. And so it's very much a coach approach to our labs.
Yeah. Oh, were you doing that? Were you doing that group coaching session with me, or was I doing that with someone else and you were doing the Wednesday group?
We did one together on the Monday night, and then
because one of our 15th lab is around group coaching because it's such first of all, it's a really cost-effective technique for people. Plus, it's a great way of getting groups in, and it's good income generation if you're a health coach as well. So everyone wins. But they bring so much to each other. And then we were working through the techniques, and then I think most of the students were like, we've been doing group coaching
Yeah.
the whole
way through.
The whole way through.
Yeah.
Right? It's good to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was cool.
The power of the group.
Yeah, power of the group is always good, and people, because you always worry in a group that people are going to not be respectful, or really deviate from the coach approach, which is start to give out instructions. You should do this, you should do that, and none of that seems to happen. It's really cool.
Yeah. There's a whole skill to the group coach.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your teaching part.
Yep, and then I have a private practice. So I have had Red George, New Zealand, for about 4 years now. It's my mental health coaching private practice where I see clients one-on-one. Yeah. And we either meet online or in person, and I do a lot of walking and talking coaching with clients if it's appropriate. Cool. So we get out and about and move. Yeah. It's not necessarily always in person in Auckland. I live in Auckland, but a client could be in Christchurch and I might be in Auckland, and we'll put our AirPods on in different cities, and they'll walk where they are and I'll walk where I am.
Oh, I've heard you say that. I've forgotten about that.
Or different countries. I've had clients in Canada and Australia that have done the same thing.
So you
just get them moving.
So as long as it's not snowing in Canada and it's an appropriate time zone.
You've got to make it work. I've had a client that I did gardening coaching with. So there is a Coaching Outdoors podcast I listen to. If anyone's looking at doing more of this work, it's called Coaching Outdoors, 2 British ladies that do the podcast. And so I really worked hard to maintain the coach approach while we gardened. Yeah. But it works as long as you're really intentional about what you're doing. For her, she wanted to be in the garden and she couldn't for various reasons. So we did coaching and gardening together.
And you did weeding and stuff as well as coached?
Yeah, I was very careful to stay to the coach approach while I weeded. Yeah. It's very easy. You could go off tangent, but the...
multitasking.
But it was really good and she loved it,
That's cool.
Yep, we did a lot of coaching in the garden.
So you can
get quite creative with the private practice.
And I suppose one of the big principles in coaching is to be comfortable with silence sometimes, because that while you as the coach are going, oh, I need to fill it, or there's always the advice monster trying to poke its head out.
Absolutely. So when you're walking
or gardening, I suppose it's okay to have silence.
Yeah, it's much more. It just feels more normal, I guess, than staring at someone online. But that does work too if you're using silence powerfully. So that's about a quarter of, about maybe a third of my week would be one-on-one clients. Yeah. And then the other part of what I do is it's called Recalibrate, our business, Recalibrate New Zealand, which is it's a corporate health coaching business or a workplace wellbeing health coaching business. And my aim for Recalibrate was to scale, to help more people. Yeah. And to move into the corporate or workplace space. So we bring together teams of health coaches, mental health coaches and metabolic health coaches. Yeah.
And these are friends that you've met along the way through your Precure journey and the health coaching?
All currently Precure certified members of Akansa coaches who all have their own private practices. Yeah. And we go out there and source the work. So we go and talk to the businesses and bring the contract back. Yeah. Or we're offered contracts by various people. And then we'll go to our coaches and say, who's free for the next 16 weeks or who's free for the next 6 months? So it's a way of collaborating, working together, lifting the ceiling of professional health coaching, creating work for health coaches, and having a bit of fun. We have so much fun. It's hard work, but we have fun.
Yeah, because each of those 3 different things has its own unique good fun value. Yeah. But actually, of course, it also has its own unique shit stuff. Mm-hmm. Like a good example for the teaching things, I know you're on some daytime labs now, but the fact that much of the teaching is in the evening, I know neither you or I are sitting around during the day going, this will be awesome, I'm really looking forward to spending my evening teaching.
But then you finish it and
you've really got a buzz, but there's always an interference of it.
Yes, there is.
Even when it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And I suppose it'd be interesting to see what you think about the one-on-one coaching, but my view is, when I do it, it's great fun, but you're just by yourself. Well, you're with someone else, but it's all on you, and you don't really get to talk about it, and it's just...
Yes, and that's where supervision's so good with coaching, is to go and unpack some of the things that happen in one-on-one.
Yeah.
With Recalibrate, what I've noticed over the last couple of years is we've always got each other's backs. Yeah. And it's a bit like the Precure team, is if someone can't do something, there's always someone else that could step in. Yeah. And you're supporting each other through life events too. Yeah. So you don't feel like you're on your own. If I used to teach a Pilates class, say at 10 in the morning, and I didn't have cover and I couldn't do it, then the class wouldn't happen. Yeah. So we're really trying to make sure, because a lot of us still have kids, kids that are at home. If something happens, there's always someone that can step in and support you.
Yeah. On the downside then, you've still got to deal with complexities, client relationships, businesses. You're now running an actual scaled business, not just a one-on-one business. And there's anyone who's done that knows that it's rewarding, but if you knew how hard it was, you'd never start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I started actually in 2001 or 2 was my first business. It was when I started at the Pilates studio.
Yeah.
And I look back now and you say that I'm an early adopter, and I probably always have been, and that I just decided to leave the hospital and set up a little physio practice within a Pilates studio. So that idea of taking a bit of a chance, saying yes, being brave and courageous, and then finding your people that can really help. You know, in the last couple of years especially, I've called on a lot of people when I haven't known how to do something or what to do, and so asking for help, finding your people so you can, no one person can do it.
So what do you think about, I know this is one of our advanced coaching principles, this is a sort of stoic one of worst case scenario, like a negative visualization. If it didn't turn out, could I live with that?
Yeah.
You're pretty good on that, right?
Yes, I definitely tend to be glass half full.
Yeah.
Is what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, and if that did happen,
I would be okay.
You'd be okay with it.
And I think if we circle round, Grant, to losing a loved one, there's certain things which have informed my view of the world, and the lens through which I look is what's the worst that can happen.
Yeah,
because
that's already happened.
That's one of the worst.
Not going to happen.
That's probably not going to happen. And what's the worst that would happen? I might look a bit silly, or it might not work, but that's not the worst that could happen. No matter what we've got. And I think the big thing these days is uncertainty.
Yeah.
When one-on-one coaching and in the labs and also in the corporate space, times are very uncertain. So one of the superpowers is learning to cope with adversity and uncertainty. Yeah. That no matter what does happen, you've got everything you need to cope with it.
Yeah.
You will be okay.
Yeah. Who was the other coach that came over from Aussie that was helping?
Amanda Balcom.
Amanda was helping you with a contract you were doing.
Oh, she still comes over once a month. We've got one more month to do next month, October. She's been over 5 times this year already. It was a 6-month contract. Yeah.
But I remember seeing you guys just before the day you started, and she's like, I'm so nervous.
Oh,
I'm so scared.
We were driving to the contract. We'd been preparing for a long time. So every month we prepare a 2-hour group coaching workshop, and we have some individual one-on-one clients as well. And the first time we drove over, which was about April this year, I was driving and Amanda was sitting next to me, and we both thought we were going to die. We actually were sitting in the car going, I have never been this nervous. We can't do it. We can't possibly just turn up and do this thing. And we're like, well, we have to, and we're going to be okay.
Why were you feeling that specifically?
Neither of us had worked with like a national sporting team, commercial, with the commercial team.
The national professional sporting franchise you were doing.
Neither of us had done that particular kind of contract before. Neither of us had created a whole 6-month program before and then presented to 31 people in a group.
And you're thinking, what if no one thinks this is cool? And they just like, what are you on about?
That's total saboteur and imposter syndrome and all the things. And we're both in the car side by side going, we just have to do it. We just have to turn up.
You can't not do it.
You can't not turn up. And my business partner at Recalibrate is a beautiful woman called Bridget Lem, and we've been friends since the first year at university. So we've been friends 30 years now. So Bridget was there waiting for us. We had to turn up. We just planned this thing and we did this thing, and then we finished it and we didn't die, and we had.
And not only that, you made a difference.
We hopefully made a difference, yeah. And then they had us back for the 2nd month, and then the 3rd month, and now we're up to month 6, and we're like, wow, we must be doing okay. There's something in this health coaching thing that we must be doing something. All right. So, yes.
I think it's just good for people to hear that, because I think there's a reality to being an entrepreneur and a coach. You're putting yourself out there.
Yes.
And everyone gets nervous.
Well, we talk about the comfort zone, the growth zone, and the fear zone, don't we? And there's 2 ways of looking at it. One is that you can expand your comfort zone into the growth zone. Yeah. And every now and then, if you go too far, you might touch on the fear zone and just pull it back a little bit. Or you can say you actually have to go, if it's more linear, to go from your comfort zone to the growth zone, you've got to go through the fear zone to get to growth. Yeah. And either way, we touch on it quite a bit. However, I know we've got what it takes and we're going to be okay. And if we don't know what to do, we'll ask for help.
I'm always still surprised. Like, I just did a triathlon event, which I was like a professional triathlete when I was younger. Yeah. For God's sake. Yeah. And I hadn't done one for 15 years. I was so scared. Yeah. I'm not because I was trying to win it or anything. I was just trying to get round and have some fun. Of course, as soon as it started, I was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, why am I so frightened of this?
Well, my daughter is 10 and she has said to me, because she did piano recitals for a little while, and she said, Mum, my piano teacher tells us that when we're nervous, it's our body's way of telling us that we want to do a good job.
Yeah, true.
And we do see it in mental health coaching quite a bit. In my private practice, people will come in and they're like, I need to do public speaking for my job, but I get really nervous and anxious and I ruminate and I'm worried for weeks beforehand and I'll avoid the thing and I won't go to work that day. So that is mental health coaching, helping people regulate their emotions, grounding, breathing, cold water therapy, whatever it is to help understand these physiological reactions in the body and then be able to work through them to do the things you want to do.
That's cool. So how does the process work if someone's coming to see a private practice health coach? How they book in or they give you an email or something, and then how do you first connect and decide whether you're going to work together? And because I guess they don't really exactly know what they're up for either.
No. So more and more these days we do still educate people on what health coaches are and mental health coaches are, but I'm finding people are actually searching it. They'll search for a health coach or they'll search for a mental health coach, and you'll generally get an email or a phone call, some kind of contact. Most of us will then reply and set up a discovery call, a 20 or 30 minute free phone call, usually, just to have a chat with the potential client and make sure that you're on the same path.
And they could be out of your scope.
Yes, so if they're out of scope, if you notice that within the first half an hour, you might end up being a bit of a health navigator and give them some possible suggestions of people who might be within scope or refer them back to their own GP, something. But if you do feel that they're within scope and you can move forward, then we'll send out the client contract and new client form so that you get the admin back in again and everyone knows how the health coaching relationship's going to look.
And you've done a little bit of screening there as well?
Yep.
Both on the initial discovery, but also by paperwork?
Yep. So you go through and you're looking for any red flags that jump out. Occasionally you might get yellow flags or orange flags. You're sort of like, I'm just not quite sure here, but we can start and we can see where we go. You might need to pull in other people to that client's journey. You might need to recommend or suggest that they also bring someone else in. Or you might get to the point where you realise that actually they weren't within scope or they've moved outside of scope, and then you'll have to follow a pathway to make sure
okay, so you get that. Now you've got your first full session. What's that even looking like? What's coaching? What are people who are listening to this? What are they expecting to happen? What are you expecting to happen? How does it look in reality? Why are you doing it the way you do it?
Yeah, and so in a first session, I'm always really careful to follow quite a scaffolding, a pathway of, do they understand what health coaching is? You would have touched on that in Discovery, but are they really sure that they know that when it comes to a health coach, we're there to support them and generally alongside them, but that they're doing the work? We're not experts telling them what to do. We're there as a coach to support their journey. We do have knowledge and resources that we can supply on their agenda if they want it, but it really is them doing the work, and we're there to help support and ask the right questions and move them forward. And then find out what really matters to them. So it could be goals-based, but often it's values-based. What really matters to you? What have you tried? How's it worked? What are you looking for? What do you need? Why are you doing this? Because we know it's the emotion underlying the behaviour change that's going to make a difference. If we just jump straight in there and start to give them advice, it's not true to the coach approach, which is find out.
So one way of thinking about it is just giving them space to be heard.
Absolutely.
Which is a new thing in medicine for many people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that a lot. I think you've said to this many times. People go, I really feel like you're listening to me for the first time.
Or this is the first time I feel like I've been listened to rather than talked to.
Yeah.
And that whole listening, that curiosity without judgment, that asking powerful questions and letting the client talk can be what they need in itself, as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, I saw some research the other day where the median time between I think they did GPs and specialists, like GPs were 2 seconds better than specialists from the time from the start of the session to when they started offering advice. 11 seconds.
Yeah, that's amazing. So most of the appointments I do will be an hour long with clients. It could be a half an hour follow-up phone call if that's what they need once you know them quite well. But that space and time to not feel rushed, to allow them to just unpack things. I often think of sort of ideas bubbling up, and being asked questions without someone jumping in with their own response to it. So just asking a question purely about them and letting them take their time to answer it.
Yeah, I'll start with the technique. Can you tell me more?
That's a good technique.
No, but there's a sort of one of the interesting, most fascinating things that they never really teach you much about in psychology.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful tool in health coaching is just diving deeper, and some of the things like the tell me more or the 5 whys. Didn't you talk about those?
There's such good techniques for coaching and for life.
Yeah.
Is that being very, very present, that coaching presence where you're 100% listening to the client and you're really curious. You're coaching the person, not the problem. You're asking them questions like, tell me more, or asking why 5 times to find out more and more.
Because often the real reason doesn't come out until later, and they might not even be aware of that.
Absolutely. And it might not be in the first session. It could be over a block of 5 sessions or 10 sessions where they've started somewhere, which could be something like, I'd really like to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then as you start to unpack it and they start to unpack it further, they realise that, yes, they'd like to move the weight, but actually they'd like to move more. And actually there's a reason why they're binge eating. And there's other things going on that they start to notice why they're doing the things in the first place.
Yeah.
So that takes time.
Yeah.
And that takes trust and relationship. You know, that having a really safe space where you can start to unpack some of these things rather than the rushed just.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this in 3 stages. So there's the space angle that we've talked about now.
Yeah.
The next one I'm thinking about, I'm calling it shift. And so this is not a tension-free zone. And we talk about resonance and dissonance and how the world is for you at the moment, how you would like it to be. And maybe those things don't match. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. And it can be uncomfortable to make those shifts.
Yeah.
It can be much more comfortable to stay. But when someone's already moving through the stages of change in their mind and they really want to make those shifts, having someone in their corner that can support them when it gets uncomfortable is really, really powerful. Yeah. And then normalising that change is messy and that it's not linear. And in order to go from here to here, there may be some really sticky points to get there.
Oh yeah, I was just writing some coaching material this morning, and I was looking at a line I'd written a few weeks ago that goes, the detours aren't distractions or stuff ups, are actually the journey. Yeah. So we've got the space, we've got this shift where people realise that actually they've talked enough and they've listened to it. They realise that actually their best life looks like this, and would feel like this, and the life they're living now is something different and feels like this, and there's a tension there, resonance and dissonance, and then they'll decide to act and change their behaviour, and then part of that is that you, by definition, won't be successful. Like, success is not a process of going from A to B and being done. Well, it might be. Maybe that happens to some of your clients. I don't know, but it's not my...
Oh, no. Success is messy and it's uncomfortable and it's challenging and it's hard. And often what I see as challenging is when people start to say to someone, that's not like you, or you've never done that before, or but you've always come out for a drink on a Friday night, or whatever it is. So there's the environment around people when it comes to shift and change that can really challenge you. But if someone understands that this is all part of the journey, which is a lot of what we spend our time in coaching, is supporting someone, saying this is very normal in order to do what you want to do. If it's reducing HbA1c and, moving from pre-diabetic back to normal values by making some changes, this is all normal to have these challenges pop up, But if you really want to get there, if that's your goal and that's what really matters to you, to move through this is completely normal.
So I think coaching, the only thing that was outside of coaching that I've noticed that understands the normalcy of relapse was the smoking cessation. I think is it the research on that is the average person quits 8 times before they're ultimately successful. But actually, Dr. David Unwin has some really great, he says, graphs of the week of patients, type 2 diabetes, they use low carb
Yeah.
and Jen Unwin's behavioural change stuff to get their HbA1c down.
Yeah.
And people make some initial success, and then they'll fall back.
Yeah.
And they'll some success.
all
And
part
it's
of
4
it.
or 5 times
Yep.
until they get a solution that works with.
Yeah, and Lisa Birch and I looked at this quite a bit because Annie Grace has written the alcohol experiment. So she does a 30-day alcohol challenge where you can remove alcohol from your life for 30 days and be curious about, that's why it's an experiment.
Yeah.
But in this pathway, Annie talks about data points.
Yeah.
So if someone does relapse, if someone is really trying to break that habit, and you can extrapolate it to sugar or anything you like,
Yeah.
but if it does happen, it's just a data point. Take emotion away from it. Take guilt and self-blame and all those really heavy things away from it and say, well, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, what led you to do X, Y, Z? As a coach, we spend a lot of time in that space. It's absolutely okay if that happens.
Oh,
But
that's so interesting that you that was my coaching initiatives with young male athletes.
Yes.
That's who I, for some reason, have ended up working with.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of that with the slightly different thing in their events. They get they get quite a lot of incoming information that's not very pleasant.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, it hurts.
Yes.
And it becomes emotionally and physically really intolerable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's quite a big reframe around that's interesting incoming data that was completely expected, of course. Like that's what we're expecting.
Yeah.
I'll get them to say that.
Yeah.
Similar but different. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. And I think if someone's really trying to make some of these behaviour changes, health-related behaviour changes on their own, it's hard to tell ourselves that. But when you've got a coach in your corner, or when you're doing group coaching, or when you're in a team of people, you've got other people that can help normalise that and say that's all part of it. You're doing great, get back on the horse tomorrow, and really support people through those challenging parts of behaviour change.
Now, I know you're a fan of acceptance and commitment tools or therapy, whatever you want to call it. Tell us how you got into that and what you make of some of those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. So acceptance and commitment therapy was part of our mental health coaching course at Precure. And before that, I actually went sort of off physio and Pilates for a few years and got into Ayurveda, mindfulness, yoga and breath work, which is part of acceptance and commitment therapy, is that idea of the observer self and acceptance of discomfort and sitting with discomfort, seeing things as they are, not necessarily the way that they'd like them to be. So when I saw ACT come up in the Precure course, I was really excited. And I'm super excited about seeing where it's going now as we're developing the course more and more. Because to me, ACT is a really creative way of combining values, what really matters to you, and mindfulness, which are two things I've always really believed in. And I see it as a really great tool for our clients. If people can understand that actually this is a tool from acceptance and commitment techniques, then they've got that tool in their tool belt that they can use. There's so much to ACT, isn't there, with metaphors and values.
The acceptance part that you're going, negative thoughts and feelings
part of life.
A normal part of a life well lived. You can't avoid them, and actually avoiding them would be a real mistake. Yeah. Deleting them, like in the same way you can't delete good memories, you can't delete those ones either. Yeah. That's the acceptance part.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Actually, before I had children, I did Vipassana, which is a 10-day silent meditation. Wow. And in Vipassana, you do 10 hours a day, 10 days in a row of silent meditation. So you're sitting still for 10 hours a day, you break it up with breaks, but you're essentially not speaking to anyone. And one of the big tenets of Vipassana is the idea that we all have regrets. We all have things that have happened in life. Some of them are like drawing a line in the sand with a stick, and overnight the tide will come up and that line will be washed away. And it's all good. It happens, Yeah. Some of them are a little bit like drawing a line up in the dirt above the high tide line with a stick. And sometimes with a king tide or a big storm,
that might go away.
But some of the other ones are like a line etched in the rock. No matter what happens with the tide or the weather, that line's going to be there. And losing my brother to taking his own life is one of my lines in the rock. Yeah. It's not going to ever go away. Yeah. It's something that's happened, and I've learned to live with it. I've accepted things as they are. But a lot of times people really do hold on to things. Yeah. And it hooks them. And that's another part of ACT, is learning what's hooking us, what we're ruminating on, and how can we learn to unhook from it a little bit and see it as it is. Yeah. It's all part of life.
And then the commitment part, it's like, regardless of all those thoughts and feelings,
do what matters.
Do what
really matters.
Do what really matters to you. That's in line with your best life. And I really like that towards move.
Yep, the towards and away.
Yeah.
So we have choice points, hundreds of choice points every day, and we can choose towards or away moves.
Yeah.
The self-awareness of where we're at and being aware that this is a choice point.
Yeah.
If fitness is really important to me and I want to get up in the morning and go for a walk, and I snooze my alarm 4 times, that might be an away move at that choice point. But if I know this is what's happening, what I really want is to maintain my fitness and stay healthy and well, a towards move would be get up and go for that walk.
Yeah. Well, an example for me is like I'm sort of a scientist and I want to be trying new things. In ice baths, I don't look at an ice bath ever and think this will be fun.
I'm with you on that one.
But my towards move is to step into there and try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because that's a value of my life.
Yeah. So it's the behaviours we see.
Yeah.
The commitment part of ACT is what are the committed behaviours that we're going to see that will move us towards the life we want to live.
One breakthrough I made, I realised that I really liked. I don't know if other people liked it, but it was in that advanced program that we just co-taught.
Yeah.
Was that with my athletes, I do ACT all the time, right? But what I noticed sometimes is that they do an event and they put months of training into it and it just all goes to shit.
Yeah.
And they feel really stink. And I noticed that if you rushed in there at that point and were like, well, that's how you're going to feel, let's just move on anyway. So we actually have a thing called the sulking window. So we actually embrace feeling shit for a day or two, whatever. They usually pick the time frame and they usually get over it in half that. But to actually, sometimes feelings are so big that you do need to. Oh, you
absolutely need to acknowledge them.
It's okay to wallow in them. You don't want to stay there.
No.
But
well, that's emotional regulation, I feel. And I do that with my kids too, whether they're named in water polo teams or disappointed that they didn't. You can have this time to feel the feels. That emotional regulation is feeling disappointed, feeling frustrated, feeling whatever the emotion is, as well as the good ones. And letting it, sitting with it and not trying to push it away. Because we know when you try and push them away, it's going to come out somewhere else. Anyway.
Because it also works both ways, as you said, right, on success. Like I had met one of my athletes, so he's won the world championships, and I've said to him, "It's great. There's a great view, but just have a look at keep that view for a couple of days. But we've climbed that mountain now. There's other mountains to climb because climbing mountains is what we do." I remember sending that text.
Absolutely, and this too shall pass. So the whole idea of stoicism is really amazing in the course too, because the good stuff passes, but the shitty stuff passes too. And if we can look after ourselves during those times of discomfort, it will pass.
And both are
equally as important
and
to acknowledge.
Both is
inevitable
in a good life. So that's been cool.
And that's life. That's where I see mental health coaching helping with life. The whole idea of life as a roller coaster. One of my kids brought home a little thing that they'd done at primary school. I think it was my eldest. And it just had this picture of a roller coaster. Life is a roller coaster. We have the ups and downs. And that's where I sit in my practice, is I help people navigate the normal ups and downs of life. It's,
so there's a whole mental health side, and then there's a physical side to this as well, because what you eat, how you set up your sleeping environment, how you actively go out and connect with other people and how much you move are also a foundation of health and therefore of health coaching.
And we can't separate them. They're also interconnected. There's that book, Brain Energy, by Dr. Christopher
Palmer.
Looking at the link between food and mood and nutrition and mental health. It is impossible to separate them all. And it's just foundational, isn't it? Lifestyle. All the things.
I think we're coming to the end of our health coaching and Ray George discussion. So thanks, Ray. It's been awesome.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was fun. Thank you, Grant.
Hey, it's Grant here. Thanks for listening to the Prevention and Cure Is podcast. We don't advertise. We're never going to, but we have one request for you and one only. If you felt this show was worthwhile, can you please rate us, and please rate us 5 stars. That's it. Thanks very much.